Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I am here to assemble a model kit and start a Lego set. And I'm also here to hang out with everybody here. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego the Site, the Tier 2 blue emote into the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. And if you feel like being a lurker and you don't want to say anything else, or anything at all, you can just lurk. That's also okay. It's a Monday. And I'm going to finish up the G-Self with Perfect Pack. We finished the G-Self. We're working on the Perfect Pack. I got some panel line to do. I got my panel line marker right in my hand. We got a few more things to build, some weapons to put together, a shield to put together, lots of stickers to put on the shield because we have some amount of stickers left. You can't really see from this camera because of the light, but there you can see the reflective on there. But yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll start working on the Lego Sonic the Hedgehog Cyclone versus Metal Sonic set. It's a mouthful, but it's not that big of a Lego set. It should be a fun thing to put together. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here. You know what? Let's get into panel lining, and I'll talk about what's going on with me. There's nothing major to chat with you about tonight. The biggest thing, Look, says, "Hey Pat, so is this an ITIS stream?" Hold on one quick second. I just want to check something real quick. It'll be fine. I just want to check something. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna go back to that, and we're good. So we're gonna do some panel lining, and I'm gonna talk to you about my dinner that I had. It was my mother's birthday over the weekend. And she wanted to go to one of her favorite restaurants in town. It's actually the next town over, but whatever. So we went over to this restaurant. It is a Mediterranean restaurant. Its focus is Italian food, but it is not exclusively Italian. So it is not an Italian restaurant. It is a Mediterranean restaurant. Basically just means it's an Italian place that has a few other things. So we went there, and it was very, very good. Now, normally, I just get a chicken dish. I like chicken the most in this house, so often I don't get it as much as I would like, so I will get it when we go out. I'm just opening this up to make sure. Should I panel line this here? I guess I could. Do that. I don't really have to. So I don't get chicken as much as I personally would enjoy myself. So I usually get it when we go to a restaurant like this, but we're having chicken tomorrow. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I will get something else that I don't normally get. I wasn't sure what I was going to get. I didn't feel like getting the veal. I do like the taste of veal, but I don't really like everything that's associated with getting me that taste of veal. You know what I'm saying? This is not me coming down on anybody and the choices they make. That is simply myself. I'm starting to think in my older age, maybe I don't really love that. I don't love the lengths that goes through to make veal happen. So I decide I'm getting the fettuccine Alfredo. And it was really fucking good, y'all. It was so good. Unbelievably tasty. So rich. Super creamy and dense and stick to your ribs. And it stuck to my goddamn ribs. And so we're going to find out tonight if eating all of that carbs, if cleaning my plate and getting all of that dairy and carbs in my body is going to mean that I have a lot of energy for tonight's stream, or if I crash really hard. I don't know. It was carb loading, but I don't know if it's going to benefit me or make me feel real weird. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I will say, it was just nice getting out. We did sit outside underneath an awning, because that is where my mom likes to sit at this restaurant. And it did start pouring rain. None of us got wet, but it was like very loud. And we were also near this man. So outside awning, tin roof. So when it started pouring, very loud. But like 2 tables away from us, the only other people for most of the time we were there sitting outside as well was this couple. And I would describe the man in this particular couple as being unbelievably Italian from New Jersey. Now, if you've never been, if you don't imagine, when you think of the New York accent, and you think of the Italian New Yorker, the New York Italian American, you might not actually be thinking about a New Yorker. You might be thinking about The Sopranos, which is Jersey. And it's different. Now, the Jersey Italian and the Jersey New York is similar, but there are differences. And this man was clearly a transplant from New Jersey. He was an Italian New Jersey man. And how do I know that? Because this is my own personal interactions, my own observations. This is not gospel. This is not me coming down on anybody. This is not me making judgments about how people sound and talk or anything like that. My observation is that New York Italian men, that's of course Italian American, New York Italian American men, are a combination of very soft spoken and normal volume. And Italian American men from New Jersey are the loudest people you've ever fucking met. They are gregarious, they are angry, they are happy, and it is all loud. This is every Italian man I have ever met who lived in New Jersey. And again, when I'm speaking of Italian, I'm talking about Italian Americans. I'm not speaking about people from Italy directly. Although I did meet some people from Italy. Those tended to be very soft-spoken old gentlemen. And maybe they were soft-spoken because their voices had given out after being loud for so many years. I don't know. But if it is a loud man from the East Coast, mid-Atlantic, New England region, and they are very loud, and they are Italian, I'm going to say they're from New Jersey. And this man was so loud. And then also, it was that thing where I was like, he's loud, and also it's loud out there because it was pouring rain. So rain was coming down. It was coming down on the tin roof that we were underneath. It was coming down outside of that. And he was having to be even louder to be heard over the rain from the person sitting directly next to him. Also, how do I know that this Italian American man was from New Jersey? There's one other dead giveaway. He wanted to talk to us, and he wanted to talk to the other people that came in later, and he wanted to talk to our waiter, and he tried to order a drink from the busboy that was delivering water. They don't take drink orders, you know that. He wanted to talk to everybody. And that is a difference between a New Yorker and a Jersey guy. That is a big difference. I am not saying that everybody who is a New York City transplant or native New Yorker doesn't want to talk to you, but I will say it is very situational. New Yorkers will want to commiserate with you. The question, can you fucking believe this guy? Is a question you ask on the subway or on the bus or on the street. When I saw David Blaine standing on a large object, I didn't know David Blaine was doing that in the park. We were walking down the street, my friends and I, after seeing a play, and somebody with a very New York accent said, "Hey, buddy, look at this guy." And I looked up and I went, "That's David Blaine." And that guy went, "Oh, yeah." And then turned and went and looked too. Because he was like, check out a load of this guy. And then he found out it was someone famous. And he was like, oh, now I'm interested. That's a New Yorker. A New Yorker isn't going to go, hey, this weather, can you believe it? How beautiful. That's not a New Yorker. It's a response to something happening. It is not just making conversation. But a New Jersey person, a New Jersey Italian, oh man, I got stuff to say to you. We got a dog here at the table. I want to talk to you about this dog. I'm going to make jokes about this dog that's here. I'm going to joke. It's not my dog. It's a person at the table's dog. And we're like, oh, literally this man made a joke to us when I pointed out to my parents there was a dog at the other table, and it was very cute. It had a bow tie on. Very adorable. But this guy, again, not their dog. We've never spoken, but this guy goes, you want him? You got to do it before my friend gets back, which is just like, okay, yeah. You are New Jersey. You are from New Jersey. I got this. Okay, I understand what's happening right now. It was great. I am not talking shit. I am merely talking about this person. It was nice because the people from New York that I meet here in South Carolina are and New York, New Jersey. There are Pittsburgh folks. I haven't interacted with the Pittsburgh folks. There is a Philly contingent somewhere that I have interacted with. But the folks I normally meet from New York are Long Island folks. Dear friends of my parents that they made when they were down here are Long Islanders. I have no issue with them, of course. They're lovely people. It's the folks that I do lawn mowing for. They're lovely people. I am happy to assist them in their endeavors. But Long Island is different from New York. Long Island is, to me, part of New York State, of course, but isn't New York City, right? In the same way that folks that live on Staten Island are New York City residents. People born on Staten Island are New York State residents. That is my opinion. That is my opinion from personal experience, from years of interacting with folks from Staten Island. If you are born on Staten Island, I do not consider you to be a New Yorker. You just happen to live near New York City. Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, obviously, Manhattan. Yeah, you're a New Yorker. If you're out in Coney Island, you're out there, you're definitely a New Yorker. That is true. But if you were born and raised in Staten Island, because here's the deal. Folks born and raised on Staten Island don't consider themselves to be New Yorkers. They're from Staten Island. It's a different thing. And there's also, I should say, there are two different kinds of people that are born in Staten Island and born and raised in Staten Island. You've got your Casey's and you got your Wu-Tang, right? Because Wu-Tang and Associates are Staten Islanders, but are real New Yorkers. But there's also people that might as well have been born on Long Island. And I call those folks the Casey's. And those people are very, very, very much might as well be from Long Island. There are Colin Jost is a Staten Islander. Colin Jost is very much a Staten Islander that might as well be from Long Island, really. But I called them the Casey's because there was I knew some folks that were born and raised in Staten Island, the Casey's, and they, the daughter, the brother and sister duo, and the daughter that I came to know fairly well, basically said that she used to tell people she was from Long Island because she was embarrassed to be from sorry, this is the wrong piece. She was embarrassed to be from Staten Island. And I was like, okay, all right, that makes sense to me. So there's some information on the regionality out there. But anyway, it was nice to hear this very Italian, New Jersey, South Jersey guy. And again, this was a South Jersey because there are Italians all over Jersey, but this was definitely a South Jersey guy. Which was nice. It was nice to briefly interact and then go about my own business. That's all to say. I'm full of pasta. Italians, Jersey, what? Yeah, exactly. But there are Italians all over Jersey, but South Jersey, North Jersey, I mean Central Jersey, forget it. I like this. If you ever have if you ever want to get in good with someone from either North or South Jersey, all you have to do is go, hey, what the fuck's happening in Bayonne? What's up in Bayonne? What's going on in Bayonne? And they will be so excited to talk shit about Bayonne. Because Central Jersey is like a weird question mark. Because if you live in Central Jersey, you don't go anywhere. You don't go to other places in Jersey. You don't go to New York. You just live and die in Central Jersey. And it's fucking weird. Like, you don't have a rivalry with Philadelphia. You don't have a rivalry with New York. You're just in Central Jersey. And you keep to yourselves. And you don't say shit. And it's creepy. It's very weird. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, if you ever meet somebody from Jersey, from North or South, and you want to, like, get in good with them, just talk some mess about Bayonne. It'll work. There's some advice. Yeah, I'm sure you don't get this in other streams, okay? You know, you can go hang out with some model builders and have a great time, I'm sure. Don't get me wrong. But you're not gonna get the lowdown on that. All right, we'll get that together there. All right, we got a gun here, so we'll put the gun hand on. Oops, what just? Oh, the hand fell apart. Of course it did. So yeah, we'll see how I do with all of the pasta and cheese in my body. I do on this stream. I made sure to drink plenty of water because I knew I was going to be drinking lots of soda and such and not drinking enough water. All right, all we have left is the shield, and then we got to take 2 different photos of this because there's 2 different modes that we can do here. Mode is just like these things can change shape. Oh, there's a stand we could build, actually. We should probably build the stand now. It does come with a stand here. It's clear, which it's unnecessary, but I'll take. But I hope you're all doing well out there on this fine Monday. I'm doing okay. There is some news out there that we can talk about here. There's not a lot, but there's some news in gaming. So we have, you know what, on this channel, I don't think we've talked about the God of War TV adaptation that is being developed and made and some of shot and maybe will come out at Amazon. Now, a while back, Ryan Hurst got injured. Ryan Hurst, who was playing Kratos, there's a shot of him and and his son Atreus, and it was they put this publicity photo out, and they were like, "We filmed 4 episodes," and people were like, "This looks bad," and that's not how you hold a bow. But that kid is like 5, so I was like, I don't care about that. I mean, they should have corrected it, but also I don't care about what's happening here particularly. So it was like, okay, all of this seems fine. This seems like it'll be okay. And then Ryan Hurst was out. And they were like, we're going to have to reshoot the first 4 episodes because he's done. Now, at the time, Amazon Studios said that it's because they wanted to shoot the first season and then start shooting the second season. But he wouldn't be ready. He had other commitments, and by the time they could start the second season, the kid was going to be too old for what they wanted to do. He would age out of what they wanted. And then they were like, actually, no, that's not the case. They're like, okay, so Hurst's injured. We're going to get a new guy to come in here. And part of the reason they said it was because of that. And then they were like, actually, this kid, and also turns out the girl who is playing Thor's daughter are both going to be recast for the second seasons because they actually do want to age up. They want to age up even more than the kids would naturally age by the time they shoot season 2. So they were like, actually, we're going to replace it. So right now, Amazon does not have a lead for their TV show that they already filmed 4 episodes of. And in the second season, they're going to recast the kid and also another character. But they're not going to replace them for season 1 because they're going to age them up, the characters up, so they need a new cast member anyway. And then the newest thing is that Deadline said, and Dave Bautista is being offered the role of Kratos. To which I say, do they know what Dave Bautista looks like right now? Because Dave Bautista is in fantastic shape for a man of his age, but he's not in wrestling shape, and I wonder if they think he is, because he's not. And again, he's not in bad shape at all. He's in phenomenal shape. He's just not in Kratos shape, I don't think. We got a stand here for our kit, which is neat. We got a big stand here. And now we got to build a shield for this kit. But we got a stand for it. I'm going to take it off the stand. The photos I've seen of him that seem recent look good enough shape for Kratos. Yeah, but who knows if he is in... So also, Lord Crashington, there is presentable shape, and then there is physical activity shape, right? We don't know what Bautista's conditioning is right now to be an action lead in a TV show. That seemingly, also, if he showed up, he would have to redo 4 episodes. And who knows if there's another, like other things, if Dune stuff, if there's like, who knows? Supposedly he'd put on some muscle back on for Highlander. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he is in condition. I don't know if he'd want to be Kratos, because Dave Bautista does action stuff, but I don't know if he wants to be a video game lead. Also, the fact that he was never Marcus Phoenix is a shame, but that's neither here nor there. But it is also a shame that he was never Marcus Phoenix, because that's actually the role you would want cast Dave Bautista in 10 years ago. I don't think you'd want to do it now, but whatever. So it's just a real big fucking mess and kind of amazing. It's kind of fucking amazing that all of this is happening. So at first I was like, oh, when they talked about Ryan Hurst being out, he's injured and they're not going to wait for him to be recovered. They're just going to get a new guy to be the lead. And I was like, that sounds like they hate him. That he hates them or they hate him. And then they were like, we're going to tell you they're telling us before season 1 is over. Literally, season 1 has not been shot yet fully. And they're like, also, don't get used to these kids. We're replacing these kids later. And I'm like, do you want this to exist? Is this a scheme? Are you trying to like get out of making this a film? Like, what are we talking about? Or a TV show? Like, what are we talking about? What are we doing here? Is this a tax write-off? Are you trying to lose money on this? And now they want Dave Bautista. And I'm like, well, then I guess this isn't them doing that. I guess this is them actually wanting it to exist. But also, maybe not. Maybe it's just like a weird leak and it's not true. And maybe Deadline has it wrong. I don't fucking know what's going on here. I don't think that show ever comes out. I'm going to say that. I don't think it's real. I think it's a lot of weird smoke and mirrors, and I think it's going to be a fucked up, weird thing that never actually airs. That's my personal opinion on that one. All right, so I got a bunch of these stickers here, and I got to figure out where they go. These are the easy ones. These stickers are the easy ones. That's 50 and 50 are the same here. I can figure out where these go. They go here. Yeah, they go like that. That's easy to put together. These are the end of the stickers here. These are our last stickers. And the only ones left are bonus hands I could build that I'm not going to build because I don't want to. So, nice and easy. And then we have to do the transformation, and there's some other effects parts that we can put on after we do the mild transformation to like the different weapons mode. It's not really a transformation, but we can alter how this thing looks, change it up. All right, and then okay, 53 and 53 are these ones. Nice and easy. So yeah, that's happening, and it's weird. There's a little bit of there's not much about this, but I did want to say that it looks like Refractor Games Refractor Studios, I should say. Refractor Studios have been laid off, and it looks like that it got its funding cut, and now the entire studio is shutting down. Again, I can't verify this fully, but it seems like, yeah, this is going to be the end of the studio. Signs point to shit's done there. And I should say that the FIFA World Cup launch edition came out like on June 11th, and people fucking hated it. So 2 months after that game came out, it looks like it's they're done. And yeah, it looks like Delphi Interactive, who partially owns the studio, is cutting future funding, and then that studio is just gone. Seems like they're just going to be done. They're going to be a done deal. Oops. I put this on backwards. The art director of the game said, Delphi just pulled a plug on Refractor Studios right after we shipped the FIFA World Cup game for Netflix. Entire studio was let go today, so if anyone's looking for talent, I can put you in contact with some pretty awesome folks. And that is backed up by a full stack developer, Nathan Potter, who said, the entire development team has been laid off, myself included. I'm now looking for my next role in game development or full stack engineering. After we shipped FIFA World Cup Launch Edition, the studio parent company pulled its funding. So that's fucked. Yeah, that shit's just done. That's the only studio closure or layoff news that I have. I'm going to bounce back and forth between like, that news sucks, here's a fun story, then we'll do another one. I got a mini rant in me that I do want to say that I'm trying to pick my words carefully about, so I'll wait on that one for a second. There's a fun little story that came out about the one-person game studio. It's a one-person team. EBA Games, that's EBA Games, is an indie developer from Japan, and has a new game coming out called Ball Boy Simulator, which is a horror indie game about like trying to explore like the dark side of baseball clubs and associations in Japan. Which seems like it's a psychological horror game. And you're like, okay, what's going on there? So EBA Games took to Twitter this weekend and said that the upcoming game, they are adding Czech support to the list of supported languages. And they're doing it because one person from the Czech Republic wishlisted the game. One person from that area wishlisted the game. So he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna add. That means that I need to add Czech language support to the game because of one person, and the reasoning is fan-fucking-tastic. I think it is a phenomenal reason for do this. Sorry, let me just see what I gotta do here. And that reason is, one day I was looking at my wish list and I saw just one person from the Czech Republic had signed up. I'm well aware of the deep respect that the Czechs have shown for both baseball and Japan in recent international tournaments. That's why, for the sake of that single baseball fan in the Czech Republic, I'm adding Czech language support. Wait for me, my Czech friend. It's fucking adorable. Also, it's very funny because so many people wishlist a game and then never think about that game again. And it's entirely fucking possible that this person will never see that and will never get the game. And it's going to have Czech support, language support, just because someone wishlisted it. But I think that fucking rules. I think it is awesome. Also, it's a horror game. And so this person is just like, yeah, they respect Japan and baseball. The people of the Czech Republic have been very nice in international baseball events. And it's just such a great reason to do that. I think that just absolutely rules. And the writer of the article that I'm reading this off of on Kotaku, Lewis Parker, ends with a statement that I agree with, which is, just goes to show that maybe the best kind of PR is being a nice person. Because this is like, that went viral. It went viral in like Japan, and then also translated, it's now going viral. As people are just like, oh shit, all right, well, I'm going to wishlist your game because that's cool as hell. That's a neat thing that you're doing. I just think it's great. It's a good little gaming story. Hey, you may remember that I talked about, now this is not gaming, but this is comic books, so it's not similar beast. The fine folks at Dark Horse Workers United, you may remember that these folks were organizing, and a rare thing happened in unions, especially unions in creative fields. The current owner of Dark Horse was just like, or the current guy who's running Dark Horse for the people that own it, was just like, yeah, all right. Yeah, we're going to voluntarily recognize your union. Yeah, okay. You don't see that happen that often at all. And it was cool news, and people were like, oh, that's... Oops, I dropped something. Hold on. That's fucking rad. You don't see that shit. It's usually a fucking fight, and there's, like, tactics they could put in, and people have all kinds of problems. And that didn't happen here. And people were like, you know what? Good on you. Yeah, they're fucking with them. And maybe that was the plan all along. Maybe the plan was to voluntarily recognize the union because they had stupid shit that they were going to do. And the thing that they're doing the most is trying to limit who can be in the union. Because they're trying to get contract negotiations to go in here, because that's what you fucking do once you're in a union. So, management is trying to, has decided that their senior editors are actually management. Now, you may know this, that, like, if you're in middle management, you are often not part of a union because you are closer to, you're not actually, but on a structure board, they say that you are closer to management than the people that you manage, right? Senior editors are just higher paid employees that have some more responsibilities, but they're not part of the management class at Dark Horse. Well, the plan is that they've changed that. They've changed their job descriptions on them. Senior editors have never been considered managers in the past. The title implies their seniority is editor staff, all who boast a long tenure than any member of the leadership team. So they're also saying, hey, these people that you say shouldn't be part of the union have been here fucking longer than you have. You should listen to them. And so that is also an attempt to make sure that union organizers aren't the people that have been there the longest, and they are people who have been there the shortest. And they're also saying, hey, you have to accept these new managerial duties or you'll be demoted. So basically, for no more money, they are making them actually managers, even though they aren't managers. And they're saying if they don't accept it, then they get demoted, which would then encourage people to take the managerial job, thus blocking them from being part of the union. And then also, Dark Horse management can go in and say, leadership can go in and say, hey, we need to take a pause on all of this because you've got union members who aren't union members, and so we need to take a break on negotiations. Lashford says, my last job, I was management level, but wasn't a manager in any capacity. Yes, and sometimes they do that so that they can force, issues between employees and structure. And also, it is that thing where you're like, okay, yeah, you're a manager in name only, and so you are exempt from things that we would love for you to not be a part of. There is a petition. I will link that petition in the show description, and I will link it right here in chat. You do not have to be an employee to sign this petition. You can just be a comic reader or a supporter of union activity. But I have put a link here if you would like to sign that petition. Let's see. We're trying to make twofold claims. Senior editors are not yet assigned super duties, and senior editors have always had supervisors. So that's the thing. So their claim is, oh no, we're just clarifying. They've always been supervisors. And they're like, but you're also saying they now have duties they didn't have before. So it's clear bullshit. They're just trying to get them out of the bargaining unit. So yeah. You can pick comic creator, industry professional, comic fan, union friend, or other, and comment if you'd like to. So that is an update. Generally, when I do union updates, it is often pretty good news. And that one was a short bit of good news, and now the bad news is here. And it's despicable, and it's underhanded, and it's shitty. Hey, there's an MMO for Pal World coming out in fucking 4 months. By the end of this year, there will be another Pal World game, and it's going to be an MMO. Pocket Pair is making a PC, so it's coming to Android and iOS. And it's Pal World Online. World of Pal World. No, it's Pal World Online. They're fucking doing it. It'll have an original story and unique lore, and expand the narrative with new side stories created exclusively for that version. And it's going to be optimized specifically for mobile play. I don't know. We'll hear more about it, but it's out by the end of the year. Sure. Yes, unique lore and new story. They're going to put unique lore this time. None of this old lore. Fuck that old lore. We got that new lore coming in. The new lore you all been waiting for. That you've requested. It's coming. And it's unique. All right, so this kit's done. We do need to take a photo here, and then I got to do the transformation style thing that's going on with this thing as well, which is just assault mode is what it's called. It does have a stand. I like the stand. I will be keeping the stand. Probably not for this kit, but we'll take 2 photos. I'm going to take a photo of how it looks, and then I'll take a photo of after the transformation, and then we'll move on to the next thing. But I am going to fucking talk about this one other story here. Now, I feel weird talking about this. Some things I need to say up front. I am going to be talking about Midboss, the game developer and publisher. The former CEO, Matt Kahn, was someone that I was friendly with. Matt helped us book unbelievably cool, weird talent. Suda and Swery were in League of Heels because of Matt Kahn. The Kenny Omega video was in part because of Matt Kahn. Matt Kahn had connections to Japan through game dev stuff and wrestling. And Matt ran GamerX East, and also in part of doing GamerX East, was also working on, and GamerX in general, was also working on Midboss. There were allegations about Matt, about bullying and threatening people, unsafe working conditions at Midboss, taking advantage of folks that were young and queer and just wanted to be part of the business, and working them with unsafe demands for their safety and health and well-being, and also not paying them and stealing money and manipulating the books and all sorts of accusations. These were accusations leveled at Matt Kahn that were serious enough that he, for a time, was no longer the CEO of Midboss. But he was still 40% owner of the company, even though he didn't sell his percentage of the company. He just didn't work there. Also, he was taken off of the board for GamerX, although his close associate, who also worked at Midboss, was still on there for a long time, and then nobody was, and then maybe they were back, and GamerX is still a big question mark with me. I don't know the full deal of what the fuck was going on there as far as his involvement to this day. But we now know that Matt Kahn is again in charge of Midboss. They made Read-Only Memories, which is a beloved game. People really like Read-Only Memories. People I know are do voices in that game. And also the sequel, Neurodiver. We know that Midboss has filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and they owe an insane amount of money. They listed $2,500 in assets and property, and they owe $823,000 to creditors. Loans, they owe $64,000 in revenue share to someone. There are royalty shares for about a dozen individuals for $87,000. So those are people who were supposed to who instead of getting paid, got offer of less money and revenue later, and obviously never got that. There is credit card debt, money owed to Chase Bank, and apparently half of that debt to creditors is equity owed to someone for $404,000. Also, $70,000 of that is supposedly money that's supposed to go to Matt. And again, I tell you this, that there were certainly accusations that Matt was just skimming from various things. Again, these are accusations that were put out. It was enough credible accusations that he stepped down for a while and disappeared. That he was still in games. He was thanked and did some work on a Swery game. And then his name disappeared from that Swery game. He was involved along with some other shady garbage people in the Toe Jam and Earl revival, and he still was working in games this whole time. But now we know that there was a CEO until 2025, and then he left, and then there was a new CEO of the company. And then apparently that eventually transitioned to just being Matt again. We don't know what's going on with the IP for Read-Only Memories. And also they made a documentary called Gaming in Color. And supposedly they're working on 2 other games. This is all a fucking mess. Again, I do feel very conflicted in talking about these things because Matt is someone that I was associated with, and I volunteered at GamerX. I also did, not only did I volunteer, I also did a panel, two panels at GamerX East, and had people that I respect very much do those panels with me. We did 404ing it's there. And I think the event GamerX East is incredibly important, especially in the year with the 2016, weeks after Trump was elected, having a queer video game convention, a small queer gaming convention in New York was cathartic and beautiful. And Matt taking advantage of people fucking sucked, and it would never be okay. That was the end of Matt's association with League of Heels and anything that I've ever worked on since. And it's a real shame because, as I said, Read Only Memories is a game that people really liked. And it was made by many, many queer voices. And it was a real shame. It was some people's first video game and some people's last video game they ever worked on because they never got fucking paid for their hard-earned time and effort, and it's a real fucking shame that shit happened to them. So yeah, Matt can get fucked, and I don't really have anything else to say about that. It's a real fucking shame. But yeah, now it's public that Matt's back in charge of it, charge of the sinking ship. And I would also, I have no evidence to back this up. I would look real closely as if Matt actually put up any of his own money into that. And if he's actually owed on loans. I would look very hard to see if that was true or not. I'd be real interested to know. Again, this is not, I don't have any evidence on that. I am not making accusations. I am merely postulating. I am wondering out loud if that is actually a thing or not. But it's a mess and it's a shame. But when I read this article today, there was no part of me that was surprised at all that Matt was still involved with that company, because of course he is, because that is part of the fucking rule books. That's what happens. In games, you don't go away, you just get off social media. Like I said, when I found out that fucking Nick Robinson and Matt Kahn were working on the Toe Jam and Earl fucking game, I was like, oh, fucking course. Of course they are. They were both on a live stream, and I'm like, really? Cool. Garbage. When I say the percentage of people in League of Heels who turned out to be garbage that I would never associate with and obviously wouldn't have invited in the first place had we known, like literally Nick and Matt are on that list, and there's not much beyond that. It's like the percentage is really low because we had a lot of people come through League of Heels. But like 2 of them, I was like, of course those 2 are associated with one another. 2 of the people that we would never want to work with again. God. Sucks. And again, I said, I think GamerX East was fucking cool. I was happy to be associated with it. I was happy to be a champion for it. I was happy to do panels and invite people to be on my panels and do the show because I think the show was important. But also, it fucking sucks that Matt was so integral for that. It's a goddamn shame. I'm done with this kit. I'm gonna take another photo of it, and then we're done here. I really like this kit. It's kind of a pain in the ass because there's so many goddamn stickers. 15. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I have one more thing I have to do, right? Because I can do this. but I also can do the effects. I want to do the effects. I don't want to do the other thing. I want to do this thing and put the effects parts in. So we'll do that instead. Instead of the point at you, we'll do the minor point at you, and we'll do the effects parts. I got to show you the effects parts because they're cool as hell. Sorry. I could take 3 photos of this kit, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna do the 2 photos. All right, so these go like this. And open up, and then we put the effects parts on here. And it's gonna look cool as hell. The fact that I got this kit because of the liquid damage to the box and the fact that it was part of some sort of leak or something, so I got this kit for cheap is great. It is a fun story. It is still the only kit I've bought from Facebook Marketplace. I don't search Facebook Marketplace for deals. This just came because somebody happened to see it and mentioned it to me. But I don't go out of my way to look for them because they are often a bad deal. So I was happy to get this deal because it is a good one, but I don't particularly need to keep my eyes out for more. And I also got fucking lucky. I'm lucky that the box was damaged and the certainly it was only the box that was damaged and the instruction manual was kind of gross. Like that, I lucked out quite a bit that was the only problems that I faced with this, and there weren't more problems. All right, so okay, so I want. Oh, I got to do. How do I do that? Sorry. Oh, I want to do it like this. Okay. Now I understand. Now I want to make this identical here. And then open these up. And then this goes on the back like this. That's pretty cool. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward how this works. Oops. He says, and as he immediately kind of messes it up. All right, so that goes like that. And then this goes like that. These are good, weird effects that I'm excited to use on here. Again, totally worth the minor inconveniences of having to use my iPad. Also, I'm using my iPad more than I do. Normally, this iPad is just for reading manga. That is literally this iPad that I use here, that I'm right now using for this PDF. I basically use this for occasionally watching a video in like the living room, and mostly it is just my manga reader. So I'm not reading manga on my computer all the time. And so I just put stuff on there and transfer it over to read. And it's nice, but I don't really use it for much. If I'm going to do anything on my, I'm also using it for Hollow Dory, Hollow Dreams. I am still playing that. I think it's a bad video game, but I think every part of the game that is predatory sucks, but I think it is a actually very good rhythm game. And the music, because the music is covers or originals from you know, Hololive, is really good, solid. Like, the music's fucking dope. It's just that all of the parts that are gacha to get you to spend more money on the gacha stuff is predatory and shitty. But the part where it's a rhythm game, it's really good. So it is a mixed bag from your boy Pat on that one. But I am doing that on my iPad. Because I wouldn't want to do it on my phone. Oh, all right. So here's this big, dumb effects backpack thing that we can put on here. So we'll get this to look nice, and then we'll get one photo of this, and then we can put this kit to bed and say we're done with this thing. Let's get the legs on here. All right, there it is. Very silly in a way that I'm really into. I got to get a photo of this, and then we can say we're done with this thing. Pretty good. Let me get a photo here. There we go. Okay. All right. That's this kit. It's pretty silly in a way that I'm really enjoy. And I'm very into. Put that aside. I can take all these sprues, toss them over in the corner, take care of those later. Get rid of the shields. Extra poly caps can go away. And then we will we'll switch over to the Metal Sonic build. Go over here. And we'll get into this. The Sonic the Hedgehog. Is the Cyclone versus Metal Sonic set. This is the Cyclone, that's Metal Sonic. That's Tails. I think y'all know what's up. I gotta close this. Sorry, this is my iPad over here. Goodbye, iPad. For now. What I need there. Need this. My tools. So we'll get ourselves after the pause for the cause. We'll get ourselves a Tails minifig, and then we'll start building. This is not that big of a build here. Let me see what the number is on here. What do we got here? 290 pieces. So I should be done with this during Thursday's stream. That's my guess. So I will do a poll, the first poll of August. I'll probably start tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll start a poll to see what I work on. But yeah, we got that going. I got my brick separator. And then I did want to point out one of the things I really love. It's not every kit, but more and more kits these days, Lego is doing with recyclable paper products instead of plastic bags. And I love that. I'm so psyched about that. Anytime I open up one of these boxes and I see that it is a bag like this, I'm very stoked because that is awesome. So that's just great. And then, ooh, tiny bags inside. Hell yeah, tiny bags, all labeled. So we will do some sorting of these things. Also, you got to always make sure. Did I get everything out of this bag? I did. So yeah, just 2 big bags. So we'll sort everything together, and we'll build our Tails. Hell yeah. Tails has 2 tails. I don't know if you know this or not. You might not know that, but Tails has 2 tails. So we'll build a Tails. Oh, and some a crowbar and a wrench. Tails got tools. Hell yeah. So after the pause for the cause, we'll come back to this, and I will start knolling and separating by color and getting that all together and ready for building and all that. Just gotta move that like that. Okay. Just giving myself some more room to place Lego. Important. And again, gotta make sure the bag is empty. One thing about this not being clear plastic bag is you can't see inside of it from the outside, so you got to open it all the way up and make sure that you're getting all of it. Because you don't want to miss out on a piece because you put it in a bag. Also, opening a bag like that is probably less weird to hear than opening a plastic bag on stream, which I know some people would love and other people would fucking hate. I hear you and see you. I understand. But yeah, so I got to sort through all this by color and separate it, and we'll do that after the pause for the cause. Hey, everybody. If you're unaware, what's going to happen right now is I'm going to talk to you, the viewer, about ways you can support me, the streamer. And I'll go through this pretty quickly. Just talking about some ways that you can do that if you're so inclined. Everything I'm about to talk to you about is optional. You're under no obligation to do any of these things. But if you would like to, well, I would love that. I think it would be rad. But again, you don't have to. So I'll talk about ways you can support the channel here. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 Blue emote into the chat, because being a subscriber is honestly, genuinely, the easiest and best way to support what I do here, because you're already here on Twitch, so if you want to support me there, that will be great. Do I get more money if you join my Patreon? Yes, but that means you have to go to Patreon and do it. You're already here on Twitch. Don't do it on mobile for anything. Never use the apps, because Apple is going to get their cut, and you're just wasting everyone's time. It might be convenient, but it's not worth it. Anyway, being a subscriber here, using your gaming token that you get from syncing your Amazon Prime with your Twitch and getting a Twitch Prime token, using that for me, you could do that if you wanted to. There are ways to support me here, of course. Bits and coins, always appreciated. You could join the cheerleader board if you want to do that. You could gift a sub and be the top of the gift sub leaderboard. You could do those things. You don't have to, but you could. You have the option and the ability to do that. As mentioned, I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over my Patreon, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me over on Patreon. Should also mention, of course, that my $10 patrons will be able to vote on what I build after this Lego set. Because like I said, I think I'll be done with it by the end of Thursday's stream. So if you want to get in on something, you can just vote and I'll know what I'm working on next. I'll put a poll up probably tomorrow. Definitely Wednesday, but probably tomorrow. I also have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBear. Over on the YouTube, you can, of course, subscribe for free, and please do, because I post videos. More on that later. But also, while you're over there, you could become a member. And for just $2 a month, you will be able to financially support me, and you'll get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you'll see a video before anybody else does. You'll find out what the theme is for August for Kuma Baer, and you'll get a Kuma Baer video before other people do. You'll see the first video in my new theme for the new month. So you can check that out. Let's see. Other things I can tell you. Those are all monthly ways to support me. If you just want to throw something in the tip jar, I have a way to do that. You can throw something in to my Ko-Fi or my PayPal. Everything I get through direct donations like that, through YouTube, which includes AdSense. So if you watch the videos that I promote here, if you watch those videos, guess what? You're also financially supporting the channel. Through Patreon and through Twitch subscriptions. Goes to me buying model kits and Lego sets. This is the last Lego set I have. Working on our Tails versus Metal Sonic. That's the last one that I have in my backlog. I don't have any other Lego. I should buy more Lego, and I'll be able to do that because of your consideration and support. And here's the thing: if you really wanted to, you could buy a Lego set for me to build on stream, or a model kit. You can go to my Amazon wish list and pick something up. So I don't build something from my backlog. I build something that you decide you want me to build. I've got model kits and Lego sets. I have inexpensive kits. I have expensive things. I just added some stuff that I think is pretty great that you might be interested in, like a time machine from Back to the Future. It's the DeLorean, and this Lego set, I should say, if I get it, I could do either the Back to the Future 1 or Back to the Future 2 version, which is pretty cool. But there's also, if that's not the vehicle you want another fictional vehicle, you could get me the Batman versus Superman Batmobile Lego playset. That would be fun to build, to put together. I got model kits and Lego sets, inexpensive stuff, very expensive stuff that's on sale all the time, stuff that never seems to be on sale. If you see something on that wish list that you'd like to see me put together, pick it up. And you'll get a dedicated YouTube video where I talk about it, called a mailbag video, where I say, hey, you rule for buying this, and whatever, and talk about the build. My alternative to Amazon is I have a wish list on Throne, and a lot of, not all, but most of the model kits on that wish list are coming from Gundam Planet, which is cool. So not only would you be supporting me, a small business, you'd also be supporting Gundam Planet, another small business. And if you really want to support a small business and also just spend so much time and do so many steps to support me, you could always buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card, they will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you could send me a whisper here on Twitch or a private message on Blue Sky or Mastodon to my account. And then I will say, heck yeah, I will certainly take that gift card and then buy something for USA Gundam Store. Again, that's the most convoluted way to support me financially. If you want to support me, but it can't be financial, or you just don't want it to be, you can always join my Discord. It is a cool place. I share build photos. People share stuff they're working on. Some people do scratch builds and share it in there. Other people just do the traditional building. It's very fun and cool, and you'll like it. A couple of video links for you to check out. Today, I put up a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club. I am talking about recommendations for this season. I have 4 recommendations, and they are vastly different kinds of shows. There is the, of course, Pat Bear is going to recommend an isekai. I'm also going to recommend an action series, and I'm going to recommend a romance series, and it's like, and I'm also going to recommend like a weird modern day time travel fish out of water story. Like, I'm gonna I recommended 4 very different kinds of anime that I all think are fantastic, and you should check out the video where I talk about them, because I think you'll like it. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series, where every week I talk about something else from the world of anime that I want to chat with you about. And in this video, oops, I got the wrong link there, sorry about that. I talked about one of my favorite shows from the spring season. So I am recommending with my full fucking chest. I'm going to read the full title because it is a long title, so pardon me. I'm going to recommend Botan Kamina Fully Blossoms When Drunk, which I think is A, fantastic, and B, really delightful and silly, and also C, very, very gay. If you were looking for, this has been a fantastic year for Yuri, and if you were looking for an actually queer romance and not just queer baiting, like, it's been a great year for that, but also this is a great show for that. If you think that something is, if you're looking for something that is fun, and you're just like looking for like a pretty chill girls doing things show about drinking that is also gay, like, it's a fantastic one. I'm going to drink something here. Sorry, I just had a comment on my YouTube channel. A creator liked my comment. Oh, look at me. Oh, I made a fun joke. And the creator of that video thought it was a good joke. Haha, I did it. Oh God, should I explain what that joke is? No, you had to be there. It's context. I can't. I made a pun that was good. And the person that I commented on their video thought the pun was good. So I'm going to take it. But to explain the pun would not be good, and also it's not really that good of a pun. Anyway, okay, let's see. So let's talk about some anime. Before we get into the anime talk, what needs to happen is I got to get back to the overhead camera, because we gotta get back to building and start annulling all of this Lego and getting this together here. And I guess we could also put together our friend here. We could get Tails together too, because that would be nice. Before we can do that, I got to get back to the overhead camera. I got to drink more water because, like, I'm just so full of pasta, as I said earlier. And then we can talk about some anime, and we have to do all of it in a dramatic fashion. So we will do all of that right now. All right. So, about halfway through the episode of Sparks of Tomorrow, I decided I'm done watching that show. I have decided that I do not like it because a big reveal happened in the previous episode, and this episode ignores that reveal. It does not address it at all. It does nothing for that reveal. And I was like, well, I think I don't care. It turns out I think I don't care about what's going on in the show. I think it's inventive and interesting. I might finish it, but I'm not going to keep talking about it week to week. So, we're going to talk about a show that I didn't end up covering on Saturday because I got behind on my coverage. So we'll talk about Frontier Lord Begins with Zero Subjects, and we'll talk about an episode of Goodbye Lara. And then next week, I will get caught up on Goodbye Lara because I'm still an episode behind on Goodbye Lara, and I want to get caught up. So I'm going to get caught up on that. I don't know where this piece that I need is, so we'll find it later. So the plan is get caught up on Goodbye Lara next week, and then after that, I will just talk about some manga because it hasn't been Manga Monday in a while. So I feel like we should talk about some manga in 2 weeks' time. Before I get into the anime here, I do want to just briefly say that I did watch the special for My Hero Academia. They did a special. It's a 6-minute little episode that is in the future based on stuff that happened in the special extra episode. That is based on the manga. It was part of, I believe, the volume collection. It is adorable. It is, again, it's 6 minutes and is short, but we get to see some characters as they aged up some, and you can tell by the title of it that there was a cover of Hero 2, the song, the insert song from My Hero Academia, when they perform at the talent show, or the festival, I should say. Which is a beautiful song, and it is so tied to Eri, the character, kind of like smiling for the first time and having a moment where she like kind of becomes an actual child again instead of the darkness that has been befall that character for so much of her life. It is a real turning point for her, and so it means a lot to her, and so her. That song coming back in that episode, this little mini episode, was absolutely lovely. It's such a cute episode that it got me in the feels. It definitely did. I was definitely emotional for that. Yeah, big recommendation, folks. If you are caught up on My Hero Academia, if you have not watched the bonus episode, you should watch that. It's available on Crunchyroll, and this bonus episode is also available on Crunchyroll. Totally worth watching because it's just super fucking cute and fun and cool. Not all of my favorite characters are in it, but a lot of them are. But yeah, unfortunately not everybody. Not all of my faves are in that episode, but quite a few. It's a lovely little thing, so I recommend that. And now to talk about episode 5 of The Frontier Lord Begins with Zero Subjects. We had some new subjects show up. And also there was a mercenary attack on Diaz, so we did get to see some action. We did get to see Diaz like kick some ass, which is cool because you don't really see that a lot. He is a big oaf. A lovable oaf, but he's also a skilled warrior, and so that was kind of fun to see. And then also we found out, all right, now he's going to be partnering with Eldon, the local lord, who had bad rumors about himself spread out there, and turns out he's a good dude. Diaz wants to grow crops in the fields. He's got all this field land. And he's like, it'd be nice to be able to not have to trade for all our food. But only grass survives in the grasslands. And so they're like, all right, well, you should go find some forest kin. Because forest kin, they're some version of elf. They obviously can commune with nature, and they can tell you like what you need to do to make this happen if you actually want to get this going. And he's like, I don't know any of them, so I don't know. That's a kind of a dead end. So instead, he leans towards the Onikin, who have lived on these lands for generations. Like, they have methods, so maybe their method of growing crops would work. So he tries the Onikin method of growing herbs in potted soil. And then there is... they get supplies from Eldon that had been promised, which includes some tools and some livestock. So now they have more livestock to raise. And also, apparently, there are also mousekin, who are the size you would imagine. They're little mouse, anthropomorphic mice people. And they apparently got goaded into coming all this way, sneaking aboard, to prove how strong they are and how brave they are by defeating the Dragon Slayer, who is, of course, Diaz. And, of course, this is a comical moment. This is played for comedy, for laughs, where he easily dispatches them because what do we even think? What are y'all doing? What's going on here? So Eldon's like, sorry about that. And apparently, they had a whole thing where the mouse people who a lot of them like to argue, they don't believe that Eldon has freed them, and it wants to return them to their homelands. So they think they're being they constantly are afraid they're being tricked. And one of them, Alna, meets the horses that live there and the livestock, and she's like fucking stoked to hang out with horses. She's a little mouse, but she thinks horses are great, and it's a cute little moment. Like, she's like enthralled by this place basically because of that. So she wants to stick around, it looks like. Dia starts working on the fields. And we have a moment where the twin elves that came by to live there, that he's raising as his daughters, they are worried about keeping secrets. They have a secret that they're keeping from everybody. And they worried, and they're like, is it wrong? And Eldon, Diaz, our boy Diaz, is real understanding. And he's just like, if it's not hurting anybody, it's fine. If you two have your secrets, like, yeah, that's okay. As long as you're not hurting anybody by it, like, sure, that's okay. You're not making me feel bad or anything. And then Diaz's attempts to cultivate herbs fails. They completely wither, I should say, and it is a bad news, and he's just fucking dejected. And the twin girls talk amongst themselves, and they're debating whether or not they should break a promise they made with their parents. Which I'm just going to say right now, folks, I know what this is because I have read way farther in the manga than we'll ever get in the season of the anime. It takes a long-ass time before everybody knows what's going on with the secret, but we do get, like, hints as to what's going on here. Basically, these two girls are more than meets the eye. They are more than just normal elves. And we'll see glimpses of that, but we don't really hear about what happened for many years. Then they find out that there is an elf... sorry, not an elf. A mousekin has been trapped inside of box. Inside the storage tent. And we'll learn more about that mouse in the next episode. So again, this is breezy. Everything isn't sunshine and roses here because there are internal conflicts happening, and we're doing a lot more of, like, introducing characters. We still have not introduced the character that I don't want to say that I am worried about, but there is a character in this show that will be a bit of a problem. And so we haven't talked about that character yet, but we will get to talk about that character. But yeah, we have not really gotten into the character that could be problematic, and I'm interested to see if the anime how the anime handles this character. I really don't know how they're going to do it, but it could be think piece worthy. There could be some people talking about this thing. I don't know, but basically, the show has a trans character, and the manga does make her the butt of some jokes, but the people that are close with her love and accept and respect her immediately and the choices she has made. But also it is somewhat played for laughs that this girl, is trans, and her reasoning for becoming, or not her reasoning for becoming trans. Her backstory is such that it is played for laughs. And I am wondering how they're going to handle it, because I have not read the light novel. I've only read the manga, so I don't know how the light novel differs from the manga, because sometimes it does greatly, because sometimes the mangas are often have a broader audience than light novels, and often you will see a manga soften on a lot of stuff, or maybe lean into a joke that wasn't actually as much a joke in the light novel. I don't know how it's treated. I can't tell you for sure. And it's also, I can talk about how it makes me feel, but I can't talk about it being a good representation or a bad representation of trans folks per se, because it's not my lived experience. I can only say how it makes me feel. And I will say that the manga, it's some tired jokes, and a lot of times queer characters have these tired ass jokes. But overall, she is readily respected and treated well by the main characters. It's just that also there's some jokes, and I don't necessarily love that. So it'll be interesting to see how she does when we meet her later in the season. And now let's talk about episode 4 of Goodbye, Lara. Now, episode 3 ended with the idea that, oh, wait, is this going to be a queer romance? Our girl needs to figure out what love is and understand love. But and the last time she thought she was in love, or she was in love and she got betrayed, the last time that happened, it was with a guy. So maybe she's going to fall in love with a girl this time? Question mark? Who knows? We don't actually know what's going on there, but maybe. Is this a queer romance? The possibilities exist, and also Laura's sister Lisa thinks that she's on the right track, and this might be working out, so I don't know. Let's find out as we talk about episode 4. Again, I'm one episode behind of Goodbye, Lara. Because at the start, even though the end of episode 3 was like, okay, she's like flirting with Mari a little bit, and Mari's been flirting with her, and this could lead somewhere. But no, episode 4 starts with her being like, hey, take me to school with you. I need to meet a prince. Maybe I can meet a prince at your school. And it's just like, oh, all right. Well, that was just her being embarrassed, I guess, and her not understanding what's going on. But sure. Mari eventually is just like, okay, let's go to school. See how that works. Of course, we talked about in the 3rd episode, Lara had started watching TV shows and like romance dramas and such, and how that is really affecting her, which makes sense. That is one of my favorite, like, people from a fantasy setting or the past end up in modern day and fall in love with like watching soap operas, because they are dramatic forms of entertainment. That is always fun. There was a manhwa that I really liked years ago, where the character had been transported to another realm and was back, and he was obsessed with getting caught up on his stories because he had watched them as a kid with his mom, and so now he was like trying to get caught up with all the episodes that he missed, and I always thought that was really cute. So Laura runs into two students named Himeka and Oji, who resemble a couple from a romance show that Laura's been watching. So she's just like, hey, you love that guy? You love them? And then Himeka's just like, no, he's my childhood friend, and I cherish our friendship, and I respect it, and I think the world of him. But no, we're just friends. And then, like, sees him talking to another girl and is like, yeah, I mean, I love him. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that guy. And it's very fucking cute and fun. And Laura, like, again, Laura, who thought she was in love and thought she understood everything, is now suddenly understanding the concept of unrequited love because, there's a fear that OG might not love her. And if she confesses and he doesn't have reciprocate the feelings, then their friendship is fucked. And it's a mess. And it's messy. And so Laura, again, we're talking about teens here, but Laura's just like remembering how she didn't really express herself fully to the prince before everything fell apart and how she regretted that. So she's just like, before she lost her voice, she wasn't able to express herself in a way that she wished she could have. So she's just like, look, you should talk to him so you don't have any regrets. You shouldn't be left with regrets. Which is like, for a girl that barely understands any concepts when it comes to love, is good advice. So our girl's given some good advice. And then Himeka goes and talks to him. And they come to terms. They are just close friends. And that's it. And there's closure there. And this is not a long-term thing of suffering. So even if it isn't the best result, it's a good result. And Himeka's just like, I still have a chance to fall in love with someone else in the future. Like, it could happen again. And it's good that I know now, which is like very fucking healthy. It feels rushed. A lot of this episode to me feels unbelievably rushed, but it is like sweet and nice that this like kind of like understanding has happened. I still think it's cool. And we got our third girl in our crew because Himeka is now part of the crew because she is now friends with Laura. And then Coda shows up and is like, hey, you gotta call your sister. And so then we have a phone call at the end of this episode between Lara and Lisa. And they reunite through the phone call, and they promise that they'll be able to see each other again. And Lisa is still convinced that the best bet apparently is our couple here is that Laura and Mari get together. That is still the best bet. Good end of the episode again. This episode felt rushed in these characters that we meet, but like it was still sweet and nice to see. I have not seen more of any of episode 5, but I hear it's pretty fucking wild. And there is a cliffhanger at the end of episode 5, so I look forward to watching that episode and seeing what the fuck goes on. Because next week we'll talk about episode 5 and 6, and I'll get caught up. Before I continue building on this Lego set, I do want to point out that this machine, the Cyclone, is apparently powered by a goddamn emerald. A Chaos Emerald is powering this thing. So that's very dangerous. We're going to enclose it a little bit. But apparently this thing runs on Chaos Emerald. So that's wild to see. But neat. So yeah, there we go. Just wanted to point that out. Goddamn Chaos Emeralds. What are they even good for? What can I say? What should I say next? All right, I'm going to keep working on this. Now is the part of the stream where I would like to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? What do you got going on? I always love hearing from you about those things. So if you're watching any TV or anime, or you've been to the movies, if there's anything you want to chat with me about, you're listening to new music you think is rad, this is your opportunity to share. And while I give you time, I will tell you that again, I finished the third job in Power Wash Simulator. I finished up the third job. The next time that we look at the, and specifically the third job in the 5 jobs for Star Wars. How many jobs? Yeah, right. Because I think there are 5 jobs. To Star Wars. Right? There are 5 jobs, I think. 6 jobs. Okay, I was wrong. There are 6 jobs. Okay. So, what I'll probably do is, let me look at, yeah, they're going to tell me what those 6 jobs are. Can somebody tell me that here? No, we got appearances. 6 jobs here. I want to see what they are. Anybody listing that? Okay. Yes. Thank you, StarWars.com, for listing this. The Homestead, the Cantina, the AT-AT, Destroyer, a X-Wing, and the Falcon. Okay. So I finished the third job, which is the AT-AT, or the AT-AT, but I learned it as AT-AT, so I know it's not that, but that's what I learned it as. I finished that job. It was long. I didn't really like it. I'm working on the 4th job. I didn't realize there were 6 jobs. So most likely what I'll do is finish the 4th job, and then if I stream this game again, which I think I will, I'll do like the 5th and 6th jobs on stream. But showcase the 3rd and 4th and just kind of go into free play and be like, here's what they are. I think the 4th job is kind of neat. I think the idea of the 3rd job, the AT-AT, is cool, but the execution, I'm not super thrilled with. But I like the idea of it. So I did more of that. I did a one-off D&D session with some friends yesterday that was really fun. And last night I watched some professional wrestling with my friends. I'm caught up on the goings-on from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and the current Princess Cup. Some major upsets last week in the Princess Cup that I was very happy to watch. Pretty fucking dope upsets in there. My girl Toga doing well. And then I would say Yuki Aino beating Miyu Watanabe is kind of a fucking wild ass upset, but it's cool. But yeah, a few upsets that I would say, but otherwise, certainly a good show that I was happy to check out. Other thing, is there anything else that I'm like, dying to talk about? I don't know. There's any other updates? I'm playing Hearthstone every day, as you all know. I'll say this: the decks that I have in this expansion, I think, are fun. I think the decks I have this expansion are particularly a good time. But I haven't. I only have a couple. I only have like 2 decks that I'm playing consistently, and that's odd for me. Usually, I have 3 or 4 that I like. So, there are some meta decks that I think are bad, and so I haven't really found the weird decks that I'm looking for. I have like one deck that is kind of cheap and kind of scummy that I've been playing a bunch to rank up because I got to platinum last month. So. I'm on the hunt. I'm going to try to get to platinum 2 months in a fucking row. That would be wild if I could pull that shit off. So, I do have a deck that I like for that. And then there's another deck that I think is very fun. It's not a good deck, but I think it's pretty fun, which I have optimized a little bit to make it a little easier. But it uses it uses almost no new cards. It's got like a couple new cards from this expansion, but it's mostly just an old idea that works well in Wild now. So I'm like, should I really be doing this? You know, I'm not really playing new stuff, but I'm not loving a lot of the new stuff. I'm still having fun with it. I'm still having fun with Hearthstone. It is my daily game. I do play. I want to say I play every day. There are days on occasion where I don't play, but I am playing fairly consistently with Hearthstone and having a good time with it. Once again, folks, if everybody has anything they want to chat with me about, if you've been playing anything, watching anything, if there's anything this week you're excited about, I'll say that I am excited tomorrow because we played the demo on stream. I played the demo on stream, but it's finally time to check in with Truck-kun. I did receive a code for Truck-kun is supporting me from another world, ! Question mark, or question mark, ! I did receive a code for that. This is not going to be a sponsored stream, but I did get the code, so I didn't pay for the game, which I believe is $20, although there is a discount, a launch discount as well. And I am excited to play that game tomorrow. I hope you will come hang out for that because it'll be fun. This is coming together real nice and easy. So I definitely will have to do a poll because I'm definitely going to finish this on Thursday. I am super confident that I will finish this because I don't think there's going to be a lot of tricks to this one. So I think by the end of Thursday stream, or maybe by the middle of Thursday stream, I will wrap this up. But I'll have to, I'll have to do a poll about what I build next, and it'll be all model kit. Well, actually, yes, it'll be all model kits. Because I don't have it. There is a papercraft kit that I have, or not papercraft, it's the craft kit, right? Hold on, is it paper? Let me look this up. I ordered something that is Pokemon themed that I am excited about building, and I don't really know a lot about it except that I got a good deal on it. And so I am gonna look up information about it, but it hasn't arrived yet. So I can't talk about it. It is as you might aware, 3D model kit. Okay, yeah, so it is foam pieces. So it is not papercraft, but is similar to papercraft. And it is a Pokemon, and I have heard pretty good things about it. And so I am looking forward to putting this thing together. But yeah, it is foam craft. But it is a model kit. And I'm interested to see how it comes together. Okay, yes. EPS foam 3D puzzle sheets with instructions. I have no idea how long it'll take to put it together. It seems kind of neat. I look forward to trying it out. That has not arrived yet, so that cannot be on my wish list. Or sorry, no, that cannot be on my options for my $10 patrons about what I work on next. But so right now I only have model kits. So I'll put up I think the list will probably include I have that Darth Vader kit I can put on the list, an option, and I have a bunch of model kits that I've had for a bit here. I'll put in I have 2 G-Quux kits, so I'll put one of those as an option, and then I'll put one of the other kits. Oh, maybe the the Erd Hunt kit, because I still have, they put out new Iron Blood Orphans kits. Technically, they're not from the show. They are from the video game Erd Hunt. And they made like an animated special based on the cutscenes from that game. So I'm like, well, I guess I should at some point, build that. I like I said, I said I had built every kit from Iron Blood and Orphans, and that used to be true, and now it's not. So I'll put that on the list. Yeah. So my list for my patrons will be the Darth Vader, one of the two G-Quest kits, I don't know which one, and that new kit, the Erd Hunt kit, which looks fucking neat. It looks cool. So those will be the options for that. Lastbrook says, I've decided to watch some of the movies that inspired Silent Hill with the goal of watching Return to Silent Hill and started with Jacob's Ladder. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, interesting project, Lastbrook, but good place to start. A movie they lifted so much from. Yes, that they are, Silent Hill is heavily inspired by Jacob's Ladder, no doubt. A movie I've seen only once. Still a good movie, but some of the effects haven't held up. Still haven't decided what else I'm going to watch, except I have to get Kindergarten Cop in there somewhere. Took advantage of the double XP weekend and ground a lot of Faction Rep and Marathon. I did also play Marathon this weekend. I played it on Saturday, and I don't think I talked about it on Saturday. So I can say I did play more Marathon with the multiplayer crew, and we did have a good time in Marathon. We're still having a good time in Marathon. We're still enjoying ourselves in there. So I did put some time into that with the crew. We're not playing it as much. I'm not playing it as much as my friends are. I still have friends who are playing it quite a bit, and that is their main game. I'm much more interested in when my multiplayer crew wants to play Mecha Chameleon, which I am bad at, but I have a very good time in. Kindergarten Cop is not a good movie, but it's a good movie. It's a good, bad movie. It is an enjoyable, bad movie that I think like you'll have fun with. It's a fucking mess, but it's got some heart and some fun action in it. But again, a lot of heart. Yeah, you should watch Kindergarten Cop. Lord Crashin says, I've watched some more Star Trek Season 2, which featured a weird episode that started well with an empty ship full of people that have been turned into crystals before it became some weird America versus communist thing for the second half. There was a much better episode after that about the Federation installing an AI computer onto the ship to replace most of the crew, and it surprisingly goes very poorly that seemed prescient for watching it now. Yeah, man. One of the cornerstones of sci-fi, of like pulp sci-fi, like that always resonated well with me, was the understanding that robots, like artificial intelligence and robot like androids and stuff, all of that is going to be bad for humanity. Like, it's not going to go well. I mean, that was a Philip K. Dick thing, and that also shows up in Star Trek quite a bit. Just this like prevailing theory that like, hey, I don't think that's a good idea. And I appreciate that. Lord Crashin is dealing with jury duty right now. Sucks. Sorry to hear that. Which in my area involves calling a number after 5 p.m. the night before each day this week to see if I need to go in the next day. So far, so good for the first 2 days of this week. Well, good. That's good to hear. I mean, look, I should say doing your civic duty is important. If you can get, if this counts as, if you calling in counts as you doing your civic duty, all the better. If that's all you need to do is that on a couple times this week, okay. It is very tough for people to be like, well, I might have to go into work, or I might not have to go into work. I don't know. Like, that's very frustrating, and I recognize that's a bummer. Snuffy says, I've got it twice here in Portland, and they've never given me an actual jury duty. So that happened with me. I've talked about this before. I'll just give the quick, easy version. In Connecticut, I was supposed to do it, but I was in college, so I couldn't do it, so I got exempt. And then I moved out of Connecticut. I lived in New York for many years, and they never called me in. But I moved boroughs and moved my voting records with that, so I could vote in local stuff. And it was just easier to do that. And then they called me in for grand jury duty, which is different from jury duty. And it was a month, and it was every day for a month. And then it would be, they never called me again because I still had even after I moved here to South Carolina, if I'd still lived in New York, it would have been a couple more years before they called me in again. Because once I did all of that, I was basically done for a long time. And then I did get called, or I did get summoned, a jury summons for here, but that has been delayed, and I didn't have to go in, which is great because it would have been it would have been a week of my fucking birthday. And I had a birthday subathon, and I was like, I might not be able to do my goddamn subathon, which I was very frustrated about. Okay, I put this on something I did. Yeah, okay. So I have done okay. I couldn't recognize, I missed a step somewhere. This piece does not go on here. And this piece does not go in there, so I have to pry this piece off. Which I could, thank God. All right. So I put this in the wrong space. I skipped a step. After this, there is a step that goes with this and this. So I missed a step here. I got to put this like that. And then I got to put this here. So yeah. Sorry to hear that, Laura Crashton. Hope it works out. Hope you, you don't necessarily have to do your civic duty. There was a time in my life where I would have loved it. When I was like unemployed in 2019, where I only worked some nights and I just, during the day, all I did was resumes and trying to get work. I would have loved to gone in for jury duty and like sat on a fucking jury and done the whole thing. But that did not come to be because I was not eligible because I had done grand jury. If you ever get called in for grand jury, it is unbelievably difficult to get out of being in grand jury, and they won't say, oh, you don't have to come in, we have enough people. They always need more people because people are desperate to get out of it because it is a month-long commitment. If you do grand jury like that, just make sure you are not anywhere in the top like 4 people like numbers, because those are people that are like have different jobs besides just voting on things if they should go to trial or not. Just try to get a low number so that way you don't have extra responsibilities like I ended up with. And yeah, and then also just like, I don't know, it's good for people watching and seeing people and understand what's going on with folks. And you get, theoretically, in grand jury, you will see a lot of different things brought to your attention to say, like, hey, should this move on? In my case, as I said, it was just 3 cases because they were building a huge case against the people. So most of it was related to that. And then we did have a small number as a favor, basically. And then we also did get out, I think a day early on all of that. We got credit for going in. It was a whole thing. Sophie says, Pat, I had to tag you on that Armored Core model I did since I feel like watching these streams contributed to finally doing one. So, yes, thank you for tagging me because I did want to see that photo. Hell yeah. I love it. Reminder, folks, if you're not interested or you just don't want to join the Discord, which is the easiest way to show photos and stuff, you can tag me on social media, on Blue Sky or Mastodon, or if I'm also in another, you can tag me in like, the Nextlander Discord or the Giant Bomb Discord, where I'm not necessarily active. I'm more of a lurker, but I am there, and you can always tag me in those, if you want to, for me to see something you're working on. You feel free to let me know. I love seeing that shit. And look, I am both sorry and also happy that I contributed to that, because I think this hobby rules. I think model kit building rules and is really fun. And as I've always said, you work very hard and then you end up with something that you could put on a shelf and go, hell yeah. And every time you see it, you remember maybe something small about it, like, I didn't get that sticker right, or that was a pain, or it took me, once I figured out how that worked, it looks so cool, or, oh, I can change this. Like this thing that I built here, and then pieces already came off of it, so we'll just take these off because they don't like to stay on. But I'm like, hell yeah, I made this thing. This thing rules. This was just a bunch of sheets of plastic before I came into the picture. It was just whatever. And then I took that and I made a cool fucking thing that, again, is falling apart already and will be annoying if I want to display it. But this was nothing. This was just sheets of plastic. And then I made a thing. I made a guy. That rules, and that will always rule. It's always fucking cool. That is a cool fucking thing. Yeah. And we get to make that stuff. All right. I didn't realize that it's almost 11, which is awesome, because that's a good thing when I'm vibing and we're building and we're having a good time. So I'm going to circle this, because this is where we're leaving. You know what? No, we'll circle this. This will be the first thing I do on Thursday, and then I definitely going to finish this on Thursday. But we got some stuff done here, and we'll put Tails on here. Tails has to stand up on this. Our working Tails here. Oops. And then we'll continue building. Tails is fucking pissed in this. Look at this. Tails is like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, Metal Sonic. When I'm done with once this thing is built, it's fucking over for you. It's very funny. But we'll continue working on this build on Thursday. I'll take a photo once the stream is done here. Let me just move some Lego pieces from one part of my table to another part of the table so that I can put all of this together once the stream is over. We still have bag 2. He's read his star on Kirby's box art. Yes, Kirby's US box art. Let's be specific. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's stream. We are going to go on a raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find somebody doing cool stuff out there that we want to spend a little more time with and go hang out with them. So I encourage you to come along on this raid. And then a reminder, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, I will finally be checking out the lovely game that is, of course, Truck-kun is supporting me from another world. We're finally going to try that game out after trying out the demo a while back. I did receive a code for that game. It is not a sponsored stream, but I did not pay for the game, which is cool. And we're going to raid Mary Kish. Good old Mary Kish. We love her. So let's go give her a raid. She is playing the video game Sephiria. We'll go see what that is. I don't know. Mary's playing it, and that's cool. Thanks so much for being here. Please come along on this raid. Come back tomorrow for video games. Thursday, continue to work on this. We got to get this thing done. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.